Hi everyone. Today I'm handling topic 2 of operations management unit, and the topic is called operations strategy. So this is an interesting topic, and we shall talk about which strategy organizations use during operations. Now that you've understood the element of operations management, last time we introduced and said operations management can take place in any industry as long as it is providing a product or a service to the final customers. So today we shall go straight to operations strategy, which is topic number 2. So a strategy is a game plan, or it is a plan on how to achieve an end result. So it means in operations management, you need a strategy that can work specifically for your business or for the business that is at hand. So in this topic, we shall look at the concept of operation strategy, the role of strategic thinking. Why should we conduct strategic thinking? Why should we think strategically? Because if everyone is doing the business the same way, we are producing goods, we are providing the service in the same way, then it means we lack a good strategy. We have to come up with a unique way of thinking that can enable us be able to be ahead of the market. If there are so many producers of the same product and they're producing in the same way, then what will differentiate our product or the product of company A and a product of company B, or the product of two companies that provide the same service? So we need to come up with strategies, and we shall see how to develop a winning strategy. Because they are winning strategies, we shall see how to come up with a winning strategy, how to go about it. And then we have order winners and order qualifiers. We shall be able to differentiate them. What helps you to win an order and what qualifies it to be in the market. Then we look at the strategic planning, production, and operation process, because it goes through a particular process, and then objectives. So that we shall be able to handle it in this topic, a very interesting topic. So we shall first understand the framework for operation strategy. Those are basic terms or basic definitions in operation strategy. Understanding the business strategy, objectives. Remember, when you want to come up with a strategy, you have to start with an objective. I want to achieve this. Then what do I do to achieve this objective? Then that is when the strategy comes in, because a strategy is a means of helping you to achieve an end result. So it means you start with an objective, you put in place objectives, and then once the objectives are in place, you can now be able to come up with a strategy of you being able to achieve that objective. So we shall understand those framework for operation strategy, decisions, how you make decisions, how you measure. Because at the end of the day, if I'm able to say that my strategy worked, I need to measure it and be able to say, before I had employed this strategy, this is what used to happen. Now that this strategy is in place, I am getting better results. So it means there is a need for measurement and feedback, continuous improvement. It needs to also be aligned with other functional strategy. You don't come up with a strategy that is going against other organizational or functional strategy. So a good strategy should align itself with other functional strategies. So it means you have to come up with a very good strategy that will suit all those characteristics for it to be able to survive in the organizational setup. The role of strategic thinking. All of us see the importance of strategic thinking. We have to think strategically. I give a simple example. If we open maybe a salon or a barber shop, and within that vicinity there are 10 of them, then what I need to survive in that barber shop is not the capital, it is not how big my salon is or my business premise is, but it is the strategic thinking. What can I do different that these other 9 businesses are not doing. That is now when you start thinking strategically. We are going to give the same service, we are going to give the same product, but how different can I be able to package my product so that it can be different out in the market, so that I can remain relevant in such a type of market? So there is strategic thinking which has to be employed by every person who is in an organizational setup. So once you do the strategic thinking, there are some ways or some things you need to put in mind when you're thinking strategically or coming up with strategies that are going to be very unique in that particular business. One, you need to identify and manage risks, know how to manage risks, know how to identify risk. There's no business without a risk. So you are ahead of the market if you can be able to identify a risk, and not only identifying a risk, managing the risk. Number two, allocate resources effectively. In operations management, we have human resources, materials, we have machines, we have finances. If you are a strategic thinker, then it means your resources will be allocated effectively. You will not allocate some areas more resources than the others. You will not be able to find yourself not knowing how to plan when it comes to resources. Improve efficiency and productivity, innovating or staying ahead of the competition. Try to find out what is it that others are not doing. What can I do differently to make my business continue to thrive. So it means you have to look for ways of innovating to be able to stay ahead of competition. Remember, businesses, there's so much competition nowadays. Whatever you can do, I can also do it. When we decide to open a business, when we decide to work or provide a service, others are also deciding on the same. If today I want to open a business to start doing something or offering a service, there are 1,000 others who have thought about it. So whatever may make me stay ahead of competition is just the ability to think strategically. And that is the importance of this particular topic. Then we come to order winners and order qualifiers. Whenever you're employing strategic thinking or strategy in an operation setup, you need to understand what are your order qualifiers and what are your order winners. There is a basic difference between the two. For order qualifiers, there are basic criteria or the minimum standard a product must be able to meet to be considered by the customers. So you cannot start a business or you cannot be operating in a business where it does not have an order qualifier. If it is providing basic service like bread, I should be able to provide bread that is of quality. The packaging should be there, the labeling should be there. I should be able to know how much weight does this bread contain. Those are the minimum standards. So for every business, we have the minimum standards, either a product or a service, and that is what we call order qualifiers. So in every business, you should be able to identify this is an order qualifier. For the product to qualify to even go out to the market, what qualities should it contain? And then we have order winners. Order winners are now whatever will give you an upper hand when it comes to the market, because there are features or characteristics that differentiate your product from that of competitors. Apart from us producing bread, packaging it, making it have the necessary weight, what makes this bread unique? That is an order winner. So in any business, if you want to compete strategically, you need to identify first your qualifiers, which they are usually not compromisable. A product must meet those factors, and then go ahead and identify your order winners. These are characteristics of a product or a service that will help you win orders in the market. That's why they are called order winners. Once you have the two, you can now be able to go out there and compete effectively, because you have what it takes to be able to strategically place yourself as a producer of a product or as a producer of a service. So If you want to develop order winners and order qualifiers, there is a step-by-step approach. Of course, you understand the market you're dealing with. Number 2, you benchmark against competitors. What are these competitors doing that you're not doing? So you will have to do that. You leverage core competencies. Find out what are your strengths. What are your core competencies? Once you get that, you invest in research and development. What can I be able to do differently? You put a lot of investment in research. Remember, you are looking for order winners. Order qualifiers, everyone has to have them. But now for you to get these order winners, invest in research, do a lot of quality assurance, develop and communicate unique selling propositions, and then review and adjust. Every time you need to review and see, did we do the right thing? Obtain feedback and then do cost management. So at the end of the day, I should be able to make my order winner to stand out so that people can be able to know, as much as there are so many salons in this particular street, I will specifically go to that one. Why? Because they have invested in research to be able to find out unique ways of providing this service that everyone else is providing. So that is it. At the end of the day, you'll still come up with strategy, operations management, strategy development. There is a process of you developing a strategy. You identify your goals, identify customers' need, come up with competitive priorities, you develop a plan, implement and monitor the plan. So that is an entire process. But at the end of the day, it is helping you to come up with a strategic plan. Once you have the plan in place, then it means you have to understand how to go about the plan. You just don't have a plan. You put the plan in place and then put measures on how to achieve your plan. And then also something else that is important, you need to come up with strategic objectives. So this entire topic will just enable you to come up with strategies that will help you survive. If it is a business that is already existing, then it means you have to continue coming up with strategies that can help it continue to exist. If it is a new business, it has not been there in the market before, try and find out how can we be able to place our products out there in the market for them to be able to be acceptable with the end customer, whether it is a product or a service. And then the last thing on this topic, we shall look at the concept of agility and the trade-off in terms of efficiency and productivity. Agility is the ability to respond to changes, being flexible. If you see this word agility anywhere in a business setup, it is the flexibility of a business. Every business should be flexible. You cannot start a business that is too strict. It does not want to change. The way things were being done 10 years ago is the same way you're doing things. In strategy, in operations management, you need to come up with flexible ways of doing a business. Whether it is providing a service, whether it is providing us a product, you ensure that you are very flexible. You can provide this, at the same time you can also provide that. So all this entire topic is very critical in making a business to survive, because once a business is there, people will always think on a day-to-day basis, how do we improve productivity? How do we improve the profit? What do we do that is different to make the sales to increase? And that is now the strategy part. Once you have employed the strategy, it is now the critical thinking part of a business, where those businesses that survive are the ones which apply critical methods of thinking to be able to make them survive. So that is it for now. I think we shall be able to look at more and more of this in detail when we meet during the class.